have definitely experienced spiritual burnout before. Some may think that just because I work in the church, that is unlikely to happen. But in my opinion, there is a higher risk of it happening. I think that stems from the fact that it's very easy to assume that all the work you do is ministry. It's no longer work. And so if it's ministry, it's for God. So you should have the strength and the endurance to do all that. But in the end, the intention to serve always comes from God. And if along the way I start to lose that connection with God, then I won't have the intention to want to serve. That's when burnout starts to happen. For myself, I start to feel jaded about ministry. I start to feel very tired, and even the thought of serving is just something that is very dreadful. And so it's something that just creeps up on me bit by bit, and before I know it, I'm just overwhelmed. That's when I realized that I have lost the connection with God. And looking back, if I didn't take certain steps to handle my burnout, the worst case scenario for me would have been that I would feel very bitter about God, about ministry, and I would have even chosen to just leave God and leave the church. I think one of the biggest lessons for me is actually learning to say no. And I forget the very lesson that even Jesus himself took the time away from crowds, from his disciples, to reconnect once again with our Heavenly Father. And in the same way, if I'm not connected with Jesus, I can't do anything. So the other lesson that I've learned in dealing with burnout is actually about the balance between serving and being with Jesus. So the trap that I always find myself landing into is either I commit a lot, I do a lot, but in the end I don't have the right frame of mind, and that is being connected with God. Or I find the other trap is that I reject everything and I become spiritually lazy. I'm not engaged. And so to me, what works for me is about finding that balance between these two. I'll admit it's a constant struggle to deal with burnout, as this cycle repeats from time to time for me. Of course, at each cycle, I hope that I'm at a better level to deal with it. So to minimize burnout, I try to step away from certain ministries and reevaluate to reflect on my relationship with God. And I also try to engage in different activities, like going on hikes, or also to share my struggles with friends, with my D groups. And throughout all this, I constantly seek God's presence in prompting me as to when I will be ready to serve once again. And throughout all that, I will continue to place my trust in Him also, knowing that even though I'm not there, He will raise others to serve in the ministry. So I know that God doesn't leave a vacuum in the church. I would say if you feel that you are experiencing spiritual burnout, that the intention to serve always comes from God. So if we are not connected with God, then there really isn't that motivation to serve. And this affects people who are involved in many ministries, or maybe someone who's just involved in one ministry. I feel that regardless of the situation, if you are saying no to certain ministries, it's okay to say no. You don't have to feel guilty. But whatever you're saying no to, I think you should also say yes to wanting to spend time with God, to reconnect with Him. And once that connection is truly there, I feel that He will once again prompt you to serve in a ministry that He has directed you to.